Oh, okay, everybody's rolling in. Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting momentarily. People are joining the webinar. All right. Looks like we got a few people joining, Renita. We'll get going here in a minute. Okay. Okay, well, it's 8:02 where I am. I think it's 11:02 where you are, Renita. So why don't we kick things off at this point? Yeah, let's get started. I think we have a good amount of people who are gonna be coming. This will be recorded, and yeah, we'll just kick this off. And good day, everyone, and welcome to another Fastman presentation. I'm Brian Lapointe, and joined by Miss Renita Day, a highly skilled ECM consultant from Fastman. Renita and I have been, working in this open text ecosystem for many years, and again, pleased to be showcasing some popular Fastman solutions, the Fastman Permissions Manager solution for the open text content management platform. And whether you are planning to deploy AI-based solutions, leveraging the knowledge within your documents, records, and content stored in OpenText, or just needing to improve your information governance hygiene, Fastman provides the best tools to simplify the job. So, hey, Renita, would you like to say hello to the audience?
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you for that. So, looking at things here. So, without further ado, let's get started. And as customary, one of the things I like to do is just kind of maybe run a quick poll or two that we have in the system here using this fantastic GoToWebinar system. It does actually work quite well. So we'll put the first question up, and it should be launched. Do you have plans? So the first question is pretty much straight up. Do you have plans, AI plans to use OpenText content management right now? So please participate in the poll. We're getting some answers in right now. Just kind of helps us too, is how we take things through. Look like right now it's heavily weighted towards people are still not making any plans just yet, but others are thinking about, some is thinking about doing it within the next 9 months, and then others next year. So yeah, I think it's settling out like that. Yeah, so I mean, it's something to be expected. People are still making plans, want to know what's possible and so forth, right? So this is pretty good. I think we landed on, 18% maybe went up a little bit in the first 9 months. Others thinking about it for next year, we're seeing 17%. And then people haven't made any plans just yet are in the 58%. So thank you for that feedback. I'll close that poll right there real quick. I got another one coming at you real quick. Let me get this launched. So just want to know, how many of you have your OpenText content management system deployed in a cloud, right? And we got a couple of answers. Is it in the OpenText cloud, hosted by OpenText? Are you using some of the other hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, GCP, or do you run it on-prem? So we're getting some of the feedback in right now. Thank you everyone for that. I'm seeing a lot of on-prem still, seeing some OT cloud, and the others in the in AWS. So, okay, get a better response here. So yeah, about 60%, let's say a little, actually a little more on on-prem. Not surprising. We in our customer base, we're seeing under 10%, about 7% in the OT cloud. So someone must be doing that. And then of course others, the balance, so like 27% in AWS, in Azure, and so forth. So we'll close that one down. I do like to ask this question right here. How many of you have deployed extended ECM integrations with your system? And this would be lead applications like SAP, SuccessFactors, Salesforce.com, the Microsoft 365 stack, or others of you doing extended ECM for engineering, or an asset management integration like Maximo that's out there, or product lifecycle management. So I'm actually seeing 50-50 right now. You know, it's a moving thing as people update. And so we're seeing about 40% on the extended ECM integrations along the lines of SAP and SuccessFactors and Salesforce and Microsoft, and 56% along the lines of have not integrated. So they're just using it, looks like they're just using straight up OpenText content management platform. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, there are a few people. So I assume they got this next question probably relates to that too. Well, will relate to it. In the last, are you using business workspaces is the last question that I have for you. So I just kind of, you know, a lot of people are in a situation where they started using the system many years ago. And, you know, you started off using a lot of organizing your information, the taxonomy around folders and so forth, or you're net new and you deployed, you know, right away with business workspaces with your extended ECM integration. Makes sense. So what do we see? So we're seeing actually heavily weighted towards using business workspaces today. Let's say 20% are planning to transition from their folders to business workspaces. And then 29% say no. So they're probably still using it as a traditional, you know, content management system, as it's really good at. So that's what we're seeing there. So all relevant, you know, business workspace, extended ECM integrations, things like that lend themselves well to Content Aviator. You know, it brings structure. So it's part of the journey. So thank you for sharing the feedback. Yeah, I know. I don't know if it's as expected, Renita, I would say, if you have any comments, but you know, it's you know, kind of will drive our conversation today, don't you think?
Yep, I agree. A lot of them are using business workspaces. Some of them are planning, and some of them don't have any plans. So yeah, makes sense.
So I closed down the poll. Are you now seeing my slides?
Yep.
Okay, just checking. Thank you for that. Okay, I got a few things to go through, and then what we're going to do is transition to a deep dive with Renita. We got some demonstrations for you today, and there is a chat function with the GoToWebinar system. I encourage you to post any questions you may have as we go through this presentation at any time. We'll try to answer them through the chat, but at the end of the session, we'll also have a Q&A. So we'll go through some of the questions and maybe pull them out and kind of just address them in front of the audience here too, just to quickly answer them too. So that's the plan for today. Thank you, everyone. And how do we get started here a little bit? Okay. So first, please allow me to properly introduce Fastman. The company's been working in the OpenText ecosystem for almost 20 years with a deep expertise, you know, within the OpenText content management system, formerly known as Extended ECM, you know, and some other names before that even. But it's one of the preferred or premier platforms in the OpenText ecosystem. And you know, we currently run 3 strong business lines, popularly known as managed services, managed agreements, and this brings us to the Fastman Management Suite. This is our out-of-the-box toolkit that will enhance any OpenText content management deployment by increasing the precision of your information governance, which, you know, essentially results in greater, you know, content aviator and AI readiness as you move towards that. And within the OpenText ecosystem, Fastman holds several distinguishing achievements. We are a proud solution extension partner of OpenText for many, for which the Fastman Management Suite is readily available to purchase. We also have ISV, system integrator status, and our solutions are OT Cloud certified for the OpenText content management platform. So wanted to share that with you today. All right, that's working. But let's focus a little on AI success. And as we learn and prepare to introduce AI automation to our businesses, the importance of information governance is critical to success. And we are finding that this is leading to a heightened awareness to the importance of strong information governance and the tools needed to achieve it, such as things like a simpler way to manage access controls, or tools to safely and more efficiently ensure the security of your information. How about greater comfort that any breaches can quickly and reliably be fixed and rectified? And at Fastman, OpenText and our customers, we are hyper-focused on this area, and together we're pleased to be sharing these best practices with you today, okay? So let me talk a little bit about the Fastman Management Suite for OpenText Content Management. It's an all-inclusive solution tailored to manage your business data. Our suite of products work together seamlessly. They increase the effectiveness in giving you your complete control over your data, your users, and your business. Additionally, it reduces the cost of compliance per item managed, which is a key metric in measuring the return on investment and the success of any information management system, such as OpenText Content Management. And here's the thing, for the enterprise application owners in the organization, these must-have tools help you demonstrate content security compliance with your internal audit process, okay? So very important. So let me take a closer look. As we take a closer look at these individual components, you'll find that our integrated user interfaces make even complex tasks easier to manage with minimal training and without the need for complex and expensive scripts, web reports, or any kind of specialized IT support. By simplifying things like data migrations, functional access, permissions, temporary access, you can safely deploy more use cases and accelerate your overall OpenText and Content Aviator adoption. And as we enter the age of AI-powered decisions and systems, it's critical to keep your systems finely tuned. And we find that our customers will purchase either the entire suite or they'll deploy individual components based on their specific needs, okay? All right. And this brings us now to Fastman Permissions Manager. It's the #1 solution for enhancing how information is presented to an entitled audience using the content management platform. And from the dashboard, it lets you see exactly what's happening. Essentially the as-is state of the system, and helps you identify any cracks, any problems you may have in the permissions model. Then not only that, it provides the tools to manage ongoing operations and make critical bulk changes as needed, okay? In this example, I can quickly see the owner group, roles from a Salesforce.com integration, an extended ECM integration, right? ACL users and groups that have access to multiple levels of the content, right from the dashboard. And from here, you can filter and even show effective permissions of a specific user and where it's being derived from. You can even start at the enterprise workspace, and this is a great way to really spot check the system overall for compliance. The OpenText system is very powerful, and customers are deploying massive amounts of business workspaces and integrating with multiple lead applications like SAP and Salesforce and Microsoft 365 to achieve that single point of truth for all their unstructured content. And in this day and age, having a true view of all your application access and not just relying on a lead application for controlling the access is just invaluable for your information governance and your compliance teams as you go forward, okay? So very important. But wait, there's more to Permissions Manager, and we're going to give you a nice demonstration Renee's prepared to provide for you today. Take you through many of the powerful features, including the dashboard that I showed off quickly there, but permission search, the ability to compare groups in the system, a special module to replace users or groups, and other tools to simplify bulk permission changes and really supercharge your permissions management of the system. Okay. We'll talk quickly about another solution we have where basically have you ever wanted to send document links from OpenText but needed to check the recipient access before sending? Sharing links from any ECM system is best practice for document collaboration. And you know what? It helps to reduce that content sprawl and associated risk. And the Fastman Permissions Manager for Outlook essentially solves this problem by letting you quickly validate access directly from within your Outlook client. It's a great little Outlook integration. We've done some improvements to it last year, and it's basically a lot easier to deploy, and supports all the different Outlook clients from the classic to the new to the web version of Outlook right now. So it's very popular. And then lastly for me, before we get into some demonstration and Q&A and things like that, I wanted to talk to you about a new innovation from Fastman that we delivered last year. We call it time-based access, and it lets you grant temporary access to content that automatically expires in the content management system. And this is something that was driven by our customer demand. We noticed that several of our customers had created custom workarounds and web reports and things of that nature, and were struggling with maintaining it. And they came to us ask, because they knew we had a domain expertise in this area and we had the ability to streamline this into a product and support it properly. And so that's what we did. We rolled out actually a couple of versions last year. So it's now a very robust solution. People can use it. I see people using it in scenarios where they're authoring documents, such as an annual report, and you require input from multiple collaborators. And you, being the owner of the document, can temporarily grant access to those collaborators and request content input from your team. You may have to elevate their access or something, but you have the control to do that safely. I see a similar scenario related to engineering documents where you want to elevate the permissions to include maybe modify from a CNC content scenario before you request comments and markups on the drawings. I've also seen customers where they're publishing their standard operating procedures, and where you want the SOPs to be, the actual SOPs, operating procedures, to be time-based. And at a designated interval, the new SOP would be published and access would automatically be removed to the expired SOP. And so this is all available out of the box with time-based access from Fastman, and we'll touch upon that today in the demonstration. So that's the setup, the lead-in, as they call it sometimes. Renita, if you like to join me back here or take control, please do so. And yeah, let's take a look at Permissions Manager, right?
Yep. Oh, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if that's up.
It looks great. I can see it.
Okay, and I move a few things around so that I can see the full screen. So yeah, thank you for setting the context, Brian. I have Permission Manager launched. As you can see here, it's very simple to do. It's an add-on module that install in your content management system. So integrates very well with the UI, whether it's smart or classic. I know a lot of our customers are moving to smart UI, or a lot of administrators or from IT prefer to use classic UI. So it works very well in both the UIs. To launch Permission Manager, all you need to do is right click on your function menu, and you have an option to launch Permission Manager right from there. And then what it does is it gives you the dashboard where it lists down the structure and the permission model associated with each of them. So I have a folder structure right over here, which is synced from my SFTC connection. It brings accounts from SFTC, and I've just mocked up a few scenarios here to showcase few features of the Permission Manager dashboard and how it can elevate some of the problems that we face with such implementation, right? So the first thing that you would see is it lists down the objects which are in my accounts folder, which are the business workspaces, but it also gives me the ability to extend each of them as I go and see the permission right on that screen. So as you were saying, this is the true view, a single view, which showcase all the current permission at that moment, right? Also list down owner group, public access, groups and users added. If you have roles with business workspaces, it will show that as well. And then we talked about time-based access, which I will show in a different demonstration, but the dashboard also effectively shows that information on the screen. So if I just close this and go to the edge communication where I have granted temporary access for demo purposes, and it is expiring in a few days. You can see that information here. A little icon tells me this is not the normal permission, this is time-based access, and it is going to expire on so and so date. Right? I have granted them to a user as well as to group. We can override the system default settings also. Very, very much configurable. Right? Shows you unique users in the group and also what is their permissions right now. Some of our customers find that the security clearance and supplementary markings are associated with their business workspaces or the items, and that information also can come up on the screen, which is sometimes very helpful for us to understand. So I think I have a workspace here that had it, or I'll show that in a minute, right? Then we have our filter by operations, which makes things so simple if you are debugging problems with permission or you're just trying to do a sanity check on your CIS model, right? I can type in your name right now, and just like that, when I do this, it filters the screen for your effective permission. And this is not like what permission you as a user are being granted. This is the permission you get via your group memberships as well, right? So if I open one of them, you'll see that Brian, the point over here, have full access on this item. But you are getting that because you are owner of this item. And via group, actually, you should only get till delete version. So I feel something is not right there. So I think I'll take upon that a little bit on the screen. You can also see that your supplementary and clearance marking, and if it is associated on the item, it will show that as well on the screen. And some other information as well, which tells me these are the other groups which are not really contributing to your permission. So very easy and effective way in which I can quickly drill down permission of a user or a group, and I can do that recursively on my folder structure. So I don't have to do multiple clicks to go there to view the permission. I can right on the screen find your effective permission. Right? So I think that's pretty helpful. And then, as I said, I found that some of the information here doesn't make sense. So I want to take corrective action on it as an administrator or an IT governance team. So we give you more functionality in our advanced functions as well. So if I just click on that, it takes you to the dashboard with much more functionality. It keeps data in context. So I'm still in the same folder structure, but it just is in the classic UI with more functionality, right? So I'll take a pause, see if you have anything to add, and then I'll move to the scenario I was talking about.
Well, I mean, I think that one scenario you demonstrated there is very powerful for any application owner that has to test out the system, to trust it, right? So you typed in my name, and very quickly from across the entire repository, no matter how access was being given to me, was able to determine what I have.
Yeah.
Right. So just that spot check scenario, and just keeping with the theme. I mean, these are the important things you have to do as you move forward and start to think about how to use this platform to deploy AI and Content Aviator. You want to have a real tight handle on what access everybody has in the system, And
Definitely.
you're owning this. This is one of the best ways to see it, And so, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's why a lot of customers we have, if you talk to any of our customers today, one of the primary reasons they purchased the Permissions Manager solution too.
Yeah. Right. And yeah, as you were saying, I just typed in your name again, and I see again your permission on this screen tells me that you have a lot of edit in this area except for this few folders. And I'm wondering why. One thing I noticed is you are owner in all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to remove your name and I'm going to select filter by owner only, right? And what it is going to do is show me the ownership row, just that one, so that I can see the relevant information. I don't get cluttered information where everything is shown to me, right? And right away, I can see that for a lot of these folders, the owner has been given edit rights, which is not the best practice, right? So I need to fix that. Not only on this folder, if I extend it, I'm going to see that it's been inherited as the folders and documents were added in it, and that's the inherent um, feature that the data gets inherited from the parent. So I want to fix that. So for this, I'm going to click on the edit permission button. I'm going to reduce the permission of the owner to see, and I don't really want to give anything to the default group. I also keep an eye that my public access is disabled on here, which is a good thing, but I'll come back to that. And if I have to add or delete anyone else, I could do that as well from here. We also show a redundant flag. So if I type in your name today and or a group and that access is redundant, we show that to you, and it only goes off till the permissions are lower or sorry, higher than what you are getting from your nested group membership. So that's pretty useful if you're cleaning things up as well. I'm going to remove this one because I just want to fix the ownership and the default group. So I'm going to submit this. This is going to make a change on the top level item, as you can see here. And now I want to apply this to my business workspaces. So I'm going to copy just those two permissions, and I'm going to select everything within this area. I'm going to click on copy. This is going to give me a list of the business workspace that I'm changing. I'm saying that retain the user and the group when they are owners. So right now the owner is admin, but the business workspaces were created either by you or me, so we are the owner. I want to retain that. I also want to retain permission when they are lower, so I'll keep that, and I'm avoiding restoring any accesses as well, right? We provide robust integration with RM, so we have flags which allow you to decide how you want to deal with official and confidential items. And I think the preview button is also pretty handy because it gives
I
you,
think that's one of the best useful things there. I mean, you're about to
yeah,
make a change, it's nice to know what the size of that's going to be.
yeah. And it's going to give me any official and confidential items as well. So I'll know right off the bat if I'm dealing with any of those things within my workspaces. So I'm going to copy this over. It's going to update as it goes. So you saw here that I did two changes at one go, which was very helpful instead of doing one, waiting for it to complete, and then starting off another and not having that visibility, right? Whether it got updated, not updated, what is my status of it? I get instant feedback over here. So everything is done. I'm going to click on done here, and you can see that our access, which we were getting due to ownership, has been reduced. So now, if I type your name, I'm sorry, your permissions will be uh, restricted. You don't get your edit permissions anymore, but you still can do plenty in these workspaces, right? And there you are, the supplementary marking and clearance modules I was talking about earlier. So you can see that, right? I also talked about public access, which is over here. And right off the bat, I said that I really didn't want public access because it's a business workspaces. I don't want everyone in the organization to see it. I guess very important with AI because I can go to a workspace and type a question and get a response if I have access to it. I don't want to give that power to everyone in the organization, only to the people who are part of my sales process, right? So in here, I did see that one area is being exposed to public access. This guy is kind of okay because it's not removed or revoked, but it's still there, right? And on the surface, it's just this too, right? But how do you prove it? Like, how do I prove that nothing inside any of these folders have public access on the screen? One way would be obviously to click, click, click and find that information out, right? But do I want to do that for a very huge workspace area? I won't do that. I'll use the search functionality instead, which is again a very robust feature, right? In here, obviously the example I'm taking is public access, but you could do it on anything, on a user group time-based access. You can say that you want the normal permission. You can say you want just the effective permission. You can even have all these features where it tells you what sort of things you're looking for. For example, a group of people should have only read access, but you want to make sure that they don't get anything beyond that. How do you make sure of that? So you can use one of these filters in here. I'm going to use any for now, or so that it shows me that. And then I'm going to say include everything, and then let me do a search on here, right? So it's going to give me the list of business workspaces, documents, folders within it, which has public access enabled. And you can see that I got two from United Oil and Gas Corporation. This didn't show up on my top level folder, right? Because it's just these two folders. I had to like navigate in and find that information out. But in the search page, I get that information right on the screen. I can fix it right away on the search result page, not on the dashboard. So I did a search. I'm going to copy my public access now, and I'm going to apply it on the search result rather than on the dashboard. So you can see here it's getting applied right away. And in a few seconds, I will be 100% sure that all my permissions have been moved over and removed from the structure. And there's really nobody getting access to public access enabled, right?
So that'll
And
help you get ready for Content Aviator, I would assume, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And just not aviator, right? Is a general hygiene. You do make public access enabled for data which is available to everyone because it makes things faster, browsing, searching, things like that. But then you don't want it to be enabled on sensitive data, something like this. And it gives you that peace of mind for audits. How do you prove you're running your system to compliance, risk management, those kind of things as well. So you can see it's been updated right now. I can refine the search, right? I'm going to run the search again. And this time I don't get any results. So I have proved to my satisfaction that there are no public access enabled on this whole area, right? Um, very easy. Um, we talked about time-based access. I like to do a quick demo of that before we move on from this page. Um, I know I removed your access from a lot of items. I want you to review a few business workspaces, right? So, or there is a scenarios can be you have a contractor coming in and you don't want to give them access permanently, which you might forget. So you want to give them temporary access for a month or two till their contract is active. So I can use time-based access for such scenarios. I can do individual items, or I can do bulk, a few items together using the operation here. And then I'll click on the time-based access on top. Uh, Again, very robust admin pages. You can see which items are supporting time-based access. In here, I have enabled it for business workspaces. I can say clear off any existing ones. So I start off fresh. You have actions where you can add, replace, add and replace both option. I can skip giving time-based access when they're lower than the existing permission. Makes sense. If you already have edit access, why should I give you a different access and clutter my permission model? I don't want to do that. I can cascade it down to all the levels for this two business workspaces, which I want to do. And I also get an option how I want to handle my official and confidential item. in here, I can type in your name. There I go. And let's say that you just need it for, a week so that you can review it. So please review this week and let me know if anything needs to change. And there's a typo in here. I'll correct that soon. Confirm, and then I'll decide what permissions I want you to have. So maybe I want you to fix some certain permissions there, right? And then if I want to do another one, I'll just copy that over and I can give it to a group as well. Let's say I want to give it to a legal group or something. I can do that, and I can give them CNC permission, right? For discovery or something like that. And then when I click on submit, it again takes me to the preview page where it effectively tells me if there were any errors or any items. There are relationship objects in here which are skipped, they are not supported. Rest everything came in, and 22 items, 18 items were updated. And you can see right here, Brian, you have full access, and then the legal team also has access in here.
That must have saved you. That would save someone a lot of time that had it would get this service ticket, let's say, a request to do something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, and it takes that tracking bit off, right? This expiration happens automatically on the expiration date, so the access gets revoked after a week. I don't have to remember or put a task in my calendar to review that, right? Or to go back and check it. What if I forget? If what if I'm sick on that day, you get an extra day of access, right? That doesn't happen with this. So I think it's pretty clean solution that way. And there's a bunch of checks we do for a lot of things. So I think it's very clean, right? Um, I'll move on to another functionality that I love, and it has given me heartburns in past. So I want to really show that. When I created this business workspace, I didn't really pay attention, and I created the role as owner instead of account owner, and it's causing a lot of confusion for me as well as for the team. So if I want to change it, I change it in the template. New workspaces are fine. Old workspaces, not so much, because we have to change them individually, right? So instead of this, I'm going to use one of our functionality called replace user, right? I'm going to replace this role with a different role. And this is used for a variety of reasons. You can, if you have a restructuring going on and you want to split two groups, you can put one group and the second group's here. Let's say you have a user who is going out from your department or your team to another team, and someone is coming in their place. You want to transfer the ownership, you could do that here. So let's say I wanted to do things. I want to change everything which is assigned to Brian. I want to put it to Renita, and I also want to change the owner to account owner. I could do that. Right?
And you can do it all in one swoop.
Yeah, and I can do multiple. So another scenario would be deleted users, right? You delete a user on the system, it doesn't really take it off from the ACL, whether it's the ownership or if you have directly added. I doubt a lot of customers do that, but if you have done it, it's difficult to maintain the hygiene that way, right? You can type in a deleted username as well in here, and it will help you move their permission to a new person, or you can remove it as well. You don't have to replace it always. You can remove that person as well, or you can reduce someone's permission. So let's say that this user has like edit permission, and when you are changing it, you want to update their permission. It helps you with a lot of functionality. And then I'm going to say all items and sub items. I'm going to say everything. Obviously we give you that include option as well. And then when I click on replace, I'm going to revoke the access. I think you have a time-based access, right? So you can see that integration right away. And I'm going to say that Brian is moving out. Renita needs to take over, okay? Something like that. And yeah, and you can see right away the options came in. It's starting the replacements, and it's going to replace wherever you were there, and also work on that role that we were talking about, right? So a lot of it is skipped. That's because there were items where you didn't have access probably. So those items were skipped, or yeah. Um, this is done. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to say okay, and I'll come here and you can see that the owner account has been changed, right? So I've done that change pretty easy. And then I have also removed anywhere where you had direct access to Renita. So that worked as well, pretty well in here, right? So that's the scenario I wanted to talk about. From the dashboard, is there anything else you would like to add, Brian? Just to highlight a few
Yeah,
special
what
things.
happens if you make a mistake?
Sorry?
How do you fix a mistake? You made a change and it ran through 1,000 items, right? What would be the quickest way to fix that?
Do a rollback, Brian. That's easy. Okay, so I didn't show the rollback feature, but that's one of the most interesting features as well, because if you have done, like, you were trying to update something and then things didn't work out, um, how do you revert back to a time when everything was fine? You do it with a rollback functionality. So you select the items, you go to the rollback permission. You don't have to give everything to everyone. You can control that from our admin pages. And that team member can go in and say at what time we want to roll back. And then you provide that information up here. And then you do a quick preview on what has been updated, modified, added, removed, kind of a thing. It gives you that information right on the screen. It's from 11 my time to 11:42, so the 42 minutes I've been talking, and list down everything which was changed in that area, right? And as soon as I hit the rollback button, that rollback starts. It really depends on your audit event. So you can even do it retrospectively. For example, you didn't have permission manager, you did a mistake, and you realize, oops, I don't know where to go from here. Instead of reviewing your old data or old audit, or relying on your memory, you could just install this module and do a rollback. It's as easy as that, right? And the way I would highlight is you can see here that the rollback is gone, and there are a few things that are different that you can see here, right? So you can see that there's no permission here. There were some things I changed in the morning, so those items have been updated here. So pretty much helps me do the rollback quite quick and easy, and then yeah, revert back to a position where things were okay. Okay. Um, on your screen, there was one other feature that is really helpful, and I want to show that real quick before we run out of time.
Yeah.
And that is our compare groups, and that can come in handy for a variety of reasons. So I'm going to put in Greg and Sam, and I'm going to see their group access side by side, right? And I think both permission manager dashboard, and this is very helpful because with all the integration, we saw that 50% of our customers, and even in the poll today, said yes, they are using business workspace, some sort of integrations, right? They bring their authorizations profiles from SAP or SuccessFactor or SFTC, right? They get synced automatically to a group in content server or a role in content server, right? And how do you manage that? How do you make sure your content management roles that you are getting are correct and reflective of that, right? You can come in here, type in two names, and it shows the group membership of those two users side by side in your content management system. From here, I can see that Sam has been added to a profile in SFTC called Order Management Agent. So he's from the order management side. And then Greg has been added to two different profiles, marketing and sales. So their roles are pretty different, right? Their roles are pretty different. And I get that information right on the screen, right? And you can think of it from SAP point, like if you are maintaining everything in GRC and those authorizations get pushed, you really don't have an oversight on that, right? Because as an admin of this system, you may not get the relevant access in that system to go and check what authorization were granted. You can come here and find if something was added correctly, incorrectly, or given to a user by mistake. So I can tell Sam that, hey, if you want access similar to Craig, don't raise request in content server. It's not there, or OTDS or Active Directory. All you need to do is go back to your SFTC folks and tell them that you are missing these profiles in your SFTC configuration. It's not a missing access here, it's something you are missing on the other system, right? And then when that sync happens, this will automatically get corrected. I can also check if other group access were provided in content management. So for example, here this requester group is a workflow related group, allows you to start some workflows, and then Greg doesn't have that, so he can't start those workflows. So those processes which you maintain in the content management system, you get a good oversight of that as well, right? Along with the permission dashboard where you see everything anyways, right? So I'll take a pause. I think I covered a lot of ground. So yeah.
Some of this stuff, I think this is where clearly this is where the return on investment's coming when customers buy. There's a couple things. It's that peace of mind they get from knowing what's there, but it's also the return on investment from the operational side, because this type of stuff, permissions, access, it tends to be the #1 support case related items, right? So there's different things here that help you to speed up fixing, triaging the systems, and even, we haven't gotten into it, but even enabling your users to kind of self-service a little more too. So there's definitely an ROI that can happen on day one with the product. And again, it's a product. It's not a professional services project. It installs into the system, and then we'll get into Q&A in a minute, Renia, but somebody was asking, is this an OScript module, and what version of Permissions Manager are you actually running here, and so forth. I think they saw the redundant flag and stuff like that. So, which is a nice feature, that being able to see if you have permissions that are redundant. So there's so many things that it exposes to you. And then Fastman has expertise in this area. We share the best practices too. So you just inherit that knowledge from the community. So, but thank you for sharing this. Did you have one more thing you wanted to show? We have, I think we have a good,
Yes.
well, we have about 12 minutes.
I have the time-based sorry, I have the PMO stuff,
Oh, yeah.
which I wanted to show, right?
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, that's interesting as well. So what I did is the same business workspaces, 3 of them. I took the links and I wanted to send it to you because I was telling, right, you should do some changes to them. I type in the email, and I just want to make sure, do a sanity check before sending you the email that you have access. So what we have is an integration. Let me just quickly move this to the other screen. Called Fastman Validate link. This is coming from the Outlook integration. All you need to do is click on it and it takes your access. I might be asked to authenticate. I'm good. Re-authenticated myself. And you can see here that it's doing a check against each item that is being added here, and it's telling me whether you have access to it or not, right? So you are good on 2 items. Actually, you have write access on 2 of them. And then for this one, you don't have access. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look here. This is going to tell me the link, the path, who is the owner, who is the recipient, and what sort of access you have, right? We also give you some sort of quick links here to open Permission Manager, right? So I can click on that and it takes me to Classic or Smart UI, whichever I want. And then also I can change my view to kind of like uh, see it with links instead of grouping it by users. So that way it becomes easy as well, depending upon which view you really like. And then if I want to correct something, I would go in here. This is my classic UI. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure one more time that you are not added or added. So I see, no permissions. So I can either give you time-based access, or I can make sure that you have been added to one of the groups, or one of those things, right? So if I click on in here, I can say time-based access, and then I can type in your name, and then right, and then I'm going to give you CNC content this time, and then I can copy those over for you, but just to give you a quick demonstration on the email that I had over here, I'm going to close this one. I'm going to refresh it, and you can see that it has changed from 1 to 0 because now you have access, you have read access on this item, right? And it's coming from the temporary access. So pretty easy. I can safely send this email to you and no back and forth. Really, you didn't give me access. Kind of
Yeah,
an easy
and I
from
think this cuts
you.
down on, the whole idea of content sprawl and so forth. And so then you can
Yeah,
really trust open text, have a single point of truth. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
what all this leads to, is that having good hygiene in this area. So,
yeah.
hey, let's take a pause. Thank you so much for everything you showed. You're absolute expert at the OpenText system. Renita, by the way, has been a system administrator and worked on many of the OpenText projects that are deployed out there well. But we do have. I asked you to take a break, but we actually have a few questions. You know what I mean? So if you want to help me out with a few of those, So a couple things have come about Permissions Manager, and in how would you describe it? It's an OScript module. People are asking about the admin functions and things like that, and how would you best describe that?
So you're right, it's an add-on OScript module installs from your admin pages, right, as an OScript module into your solution, integrates well. It provides you with different admin pages where you can enable, disable permission management on global level, or it also provides you usage privileges, things like how you would see what one user can see and two in the system, right? Like we looked into rollbacks. Those are advanced features. We didn't talk about virtual permission for something like that. You want to restrict those things, you could do that from the usage privileges. And then each and every functionality that you saw came with a lot of configurations as well, where you can enable, disable them. You can say which object should be part of the cascading options, what is the level of depth you want to go to, what objects are included when you see the search, and other options. Everything is configurable on that dashboard. It's pretty robust. We do quarterly releases. Everything gets certified. So it's
So
there for you.
it's not
Yeah.
just the sysadmin user, right? So it can be the business administrator, or you
Oh
can even
yeah.
you got the usage privileges, so you can push it out to any of your power users, right?
Yeah, so we do have a configuration which tells you that readers can open dashboard as well. Obviously, they can't change anything because we don't override the edit permission feature, right? You should have edit permissions for that, but it gives you that option to launch dashboard and see what access you have or your team member have, so that you don't have to rely on an admin to give you that information, right? And then you can contact the correct people to get the access, right?
Great. Hey, what version of Permissions Manager are you running in the demo here today? Was one of the questions.
I think we are on 24.4, the latest one. That's the one that is installed on this one, on our demo environment. But
So that
yeah.
was a question looked like coming from one of our existing users.
Oh,
And so we keep all the versions in the download portal. So the software is in the Fastman download portal, which is also with all the release notes. So our release notes are very robust, and they basically describe all the enhancements and so forth. So if you saw something in there that you didn't see in your version and so forth, feel free to reach out to us. Support@fastman.com for any support questions. Open a ticket with us. That's how you do it. Okay, I mean, there's a few things here. What else? What else? Let me see here. So, there's a little bit of a theme here. So related to AI, I guess this is early on as we got into the presentation. It was asking how can we explain how Permissions Manager reduce the risk with AI specifically. I think there's that one. Can you give an example? They're looking for a little bit of an example and so forth. And I think you did a great job of an example. So maybe the question came before you demonstrated, but we can cover it again. You know what I mean? When you were doing the demonstration of public access and so forth, right?
Right. I think one of the things that is a risk is when you ask, when you're browsing, you browse for specific content. When you ask a question, it may return data where you have access on, right? And you may not even know about it. As an admin, as an IG or document controller, it is your responsibility to make sure correct access has been assigned to people so that when they ask a question, the aviator can do that permission check effectively and tell you that they don't have access to that information and give that response back to you. But for that, the logged in user should not really have access to it, right? Otherwise, aviator is going to give the response to you, right? So that's what we are talking about. Use the permission dashboard to make those checks, public access, ownership, groups, roles, and things like that. Use your compare groups to make sure that right authorizations have flown by, and that helps you in deciding who gets what access on what folders and what are the security clearance and supplementary markings as well on those items, so that when the check is done, it always returns you the right answer and the correct answer.
I'm reading some other things here. I'm seeing, can you run Permissions Manager on folders within that business workspace itself, or a collection of content?
Right. So as you saw, like I was on the business workspace or on the top level, you could launch it at any level, actually. You could run it on a collection, as Ben was talking about. If you're looking for specific content, you can do a search, collect them, put it in a container, and then just run with permission manager from the function menu, and it will give you the relevant permissions of any of the items which are inside that container, right? So be it anything, projects, folders, compound documents, business workspaces, collections, it would work. Volumes, personal volume, right? Enterprise workspace, it'll work on anything, and it will show you the right permissions as well.
Yeah. Last question. We're running out of time. Somebody was asking a kind of a basic question, but I think it's kind of cool. Are you able to go back to the Permissions Manager system or OpenText? They just want to know how you access Permissions Manager, and I think it's related to like the function menu, right? So maybe go back to a folder outside of Permissions Manager and just show them how you can quickly and easily access it.
There you go. Easy.
Right from the function menu, whether it's in Smart UI or Classic.
Yeah, and then in this one, I would do this one, and then Permission Manager. And then if you have time-based access, if you want to like do single item, we also give you that option in here. So you can just grant like one access. Oh, Vic has been granted access in here. So I can see that. And those functionalities are available right on the function menu.
So it's tightly integrated within OpenText Content Management. There's a robust admin. There's a robust user documentation within the standard documentation links within content management. There's no, it's the way it installs into the existing system. There's no additional hardware or anything like that that's needed, just to kind of answer some of those general questions there too. Anything else to add, Renita? I think we're at time.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, nice job. I appreciate everything you did for us today. And we had a pretty good crowd. I still have a good attendees here. This was actually a pretty well received and attended event for Fastman, or probably any of the people in the OpenText ecosystem. So there's a lot of interest right now. I think there's a lot of talk about AI, what it can do for us. And I think a lot of people are thinking about, you know, how to get there, you know, and it's just going to be there very soon with this generative AI. It's just keeping to evolve. So, but keeping our information in the hygiene of our information tight and clean and secure is now even more important as it ever has. And, you know, look, you know, ask it, look to Fastman, you know, reach out to us if you have any needs as we go forward. This session is recorded through the GoToWebinar, so you will get a video of it, and you'll be hearing from us throughout the year. So with that said, we'll say our goodbyes, and thank you everyone for coming to the Fastman webinar today. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.